When you think about your future, what do you see?
Like our generation, I feel like is really good at placing emphasis on this. I hope that we take more accountability for things.
I see, honestly, higher temperatures, more natural disasters, disappearing or sinking islands.
I think about it to an extent every day just because of things I see in media.
It seems to me that the easiest place to be, and in a way maybe the smartest place to be, at least till you turn 21 and you get like 6 months of heavy drinking in or something, you can drown your sorrows, I don't know, right? But like it seems to me that denial would be why wouldn't you be in denial? Why would I want to believe this? Why would you want to believe it, bro? Life isn't going away on this planet, right? Life is here. Life is transforming all the time. Human beings are going to be here. We're not going to, cede the planet in the near future to the cockroaches. This is a challenge. Climate change, climate collapse, right? What would you have to hear to see this as an interesting challenge for your generation?
There are a big wave of to handle this kind of collapse, and a lot of company and media are stressing that we have to change our car from ICE to EV, or they're keep trying to change, and they're making their own industry, new industry, and I don't know much about my generation. Honestly, for me, I think by this kind of wave, there are some people who are trying to make money by making another industry, by doing that kind of stuff. And so the thing is, for me, I don't trust that. So I haven't seen the evidence of global warming. So if we think about the past, when there's a dinosaur, and the temperature of that term and this is quite different. And would you say that is also climate collapse? That's just climate change.
Yeah.
And I want to say that too. So we're going to there is climate change, but I want to stress that we're getting on the stage that is new normal.
It's one thing to look at changes over 100,000 years or 10,000 years or 1,000 years or 30 years.
Yeah, it's not that strange. Changes everywhere.
No, hang on. But what's different now is we're looking at decades. We're not looking at thousands of years. We're looking at decades. In a very short period of time, we're seeing oh my God. When you think about that, okay? All of the things that I just said, when you think about your future, what do you see?
There's going to be no fuels, chemical fuels. It can be all alternate to electric. And I think new kind of agriculture technology will be developed. And someday we're going to eat artificial meat, instead of animal, meat from animal, and a lot of population will gonna be decrease.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you look ahead at your future, do you feel? It sounds like you feel kind of optimistic.
I'm just adapt to new world.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Which is an optimism, really. Yeah. Really, it's adapt to it. Okay, that's cool. Karen, how about you? Let me just ask you this question. When you look at your future, what do you see?
In regards to
regards to these issues, yeah.
I think our generation, I feel is really good at placing emphasis on this. So I do think as our generation grows and we have newer generations and we give our ideas to them, I hope that we take more accountability for things. But I do believe I've seen a lot of for example, like there's like a changes in companies now that they really like to advertise what they're doing good. So like when I was hunting for jobs and stuff, I saw like that the first thing in their company's webpage of like, how are we helping the climate change?
And do you see that as a good thing?
I see that as a good thing because I feel like back then maybe like 10 years ago when our generation was younger, that probably wouldn't have been on their first page.
Yeah, definitely 20. When you were born, that was like, okay, so it's good that people are really putting it out there. Like, hey, we're really thinking about this. How often do you think about it?
Honestly, not that often. Just because I want to be like very truthful here.
No, be very truthful. No, that's what I'm curious about.
But I do think, again, I think our generation is putting a big emphasis on it because
wait, but hang on, but stick to you. So you don't think about it very often?
No, not really. I do see some videos pop up. For example, recently I think like Taylor Swift was like being dragged on for like using her jet so much, and they're like, that's not good for the environment and stuff like that. And then thrifting now also, they say that like it's really good for conserving water.
Okay, what were you thinking when I was talking about all these different people that are saying like, oh, this is really, really serious?
Yeah, I think just where I've been at, I haven't seen it in a first like person view.
Yeah.
So I don't really experience what like other people in the world have been seeing.
All right, that's cool. So you're a college student and you're just living your life.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. All right, that's good. Julia.
So this might be a little bit more pessimistic, but I see, honestly, higher temperatures, people migrating to possibly like the north, especially like those who live in the south, people migrating to the north. More natural disasters, disappearing or sinking islands. So yeah, a bit more pessimistic, but.
And how often do you think about this issue?
So whenever I'm abroad, so whenever I'm in the Philippines, I definitely think about it a lot more there.
It's really impacting the Philippines,
Definitely.
by the way.
Yeah. So I'd say pretty often, but if I had to give it like, I'd say honestly like at least once a week.
Once a week?
Yes.
For you, once a month?
Probably in the summer because it's hot.
In the summer? Okay, more often in the summertime. Bro, how often do you think about this?
Like it's getting hotter than last summer.
Yeah.
And I feel climate collapse.
Yeah, but how often do you think about it? Like either because you watch the news or like something like is it like? Because I don't know how when you're back in Korea, it's like Koreans are talking about this a lot. Oh, yeah. So like how often do you think about it when you're in Korea? Every day?
Like sometimes, because like there's a lot of media stressing this climate collapse.
Okay, all right.
And government policy is getting like they're trying to give subsidies to companies who stick to like eco-friendly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, your government is doing really some very, very important things. So is the U.S. government. Everybody is. All right, Sam, how about you, man? How often are you thinking about this? As you hang upside down on your rocks or whatever it is you do?
I'd say I think about it to an extent every day, just because of things I see in media.
And what are you thinking about?
Thinking about weather windows for seasons, like for climbing season. It's when it's cold. So I'm thinking about this weekend whether it's going to be cold or not. It hasn't been cold a lot.
I recognize that we really almost certainly are in an existential space, an existential frame that human beings have never been in all of our years on this planet. That you can't even comprehend. What we're talking about is existential collapse of the world as we know it. Okay. It's kind of like the people now in the western central Florida where, the hurricane is barreling down on them. You can't even comprehend what a Category 4 or a Category 5 would mean to hit the Tampa area. What we're talking about is the radical transformation of life on this earth at every level, right? So for me, I mean, it can be a challenge. It doesn't, but this is what we're talking about. So you have to hold it in your mind. And at your ages, at your age, you can't. How do any of you hold that, really? When I just said what I just said about the existential collapse, right? Well, what do you hear?
I immediately think of like the state of the United States and how like half the people in our country don't believe it's a thing. That's what my mind
it's not
goes
quite
to.
half. Most
but
people think it's a thing, but they don't think that human beings have such a strong hand in it.
Yeah, that's what my mind goes to, because especially with the election and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of the media I'm seeing is about, what party's going to do what, that kind of thing.
But doesn't it make sense, though, that, look, for example, like, I don't know that I'm right, okay? But I look at the people who are running the world and running this country in particular, and they all believe it. They're just like, yep, it's happening, man. Some of them are building new industries and going to make a profit of it, because that's the nature of free market capitalism. That's how you make things happen, right? The free market. You change something, and then you make a profit from it, and then you sell it out into the world. That's a good thing. So of course we have all these new industries coming up that are green industries, and like they're going to find new ways to make energy, because it's all about making energy, because we need energy. So it's all about making energy in ways that doesn't put CO2 up in the atmosphere. It's like, okay, that's a good thing, man. This is the free market, okay? But like, it seems to me that the easiest place to be, and in a way maybe the smartest place to be, at least till you turn 21 and you get like 6 months of heavy drinking in or something, you can drown your sorrows, I don't know, right? But like, it seems to me that denial would be why wouldn't you be in denial? Why would I want to believe this? Why would you want to believe it, bro?
I think people should believe it just because, future generations.
But doesn't it make sense just to live your lives? And like,
that's certainly one way to think of it.
yeah, I mean, let other people take care of it. I don't know.
Yeah, but in my view, especially with an election, as an American citizen, I have the power to use my vote to put someone in office that more aligns with, thinking climate change is a real threat.
Yeah, well, I think that I'm probably pretty sure that both candidates are smart enough to know that it's a really serious threat. Yeah, it's just a matter of who wants to play their hand more. Yeah. Julia, what do you think about when I talk about existential threat? Like, to radically transform life on Earth for every being that lives on Earth. Not every single spot, but, this is serious. If they're right, and I suspect they're probably closer to right than being wrong. So what do you think about when I say that?
Honestly, just whether or not having children, for example, whether or not that's actually attainable in the direction we're heading, whether or not this may even potentially get worse. I guess like a turning point, possibly.
The way to understand systems live in the state of equilibrium. It's like a teeter-totter. You ever play that on the playground? You're back and you're forth, and you want to be in that state of equilibrium. And that's how systems operate, okay? But you ever notice that when you're on like a teeter-totter and you start to go a little too far, you just can't bring it back. It just throws it way off. You have to be really, really in a state of balance, okay? Equilibrium. And things fall apart really fast. Things get chaotic really, really fast, like a traffic jam. It starts as a traffic jam really slowly, and then suddenly it just, boom, it's gone. It's all over with, okay? So systems tend to be they want equilibrium, So the climate system is a system, the Earth system, right? It wants equilibrium. Every system wants to go back to equilibrium. The problem is when it gets a little bit out of whack, it really gets out of whack very quickly. And that's why people are talking about not just climate change, but climate collapse. And the collapse is the collapse of the system. That one thing goes, everything is interconnected. You know, it's here, it's there, it's here, it's there. Everything is connected.
I think my problem with this is that like so many issues relate to climate change, right? Like the possibility of like prices for consumers increasing, maybe even housing, like.
Definitely housing.
Right. I just feel like, you know, if there is a turning point, if we are able to somehow find a solution where we are able to actually create a sustainable future, like how far into the future will we create that solution if we ever do?
That's a good question. I don't know. First off, by the way, let me be really clear. Life isn't going away on this planet, right? Life is here. Life is transforming all the time. Human beings are going to be here. We're not going to, cede the planet in the near future to the cockroaches or the rats or whatever it is. Like, that's not going to happen anytime in the near future. What it is, it's the transformation in how we live life and what we're able to do and what we're able to sustain.